What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by David.
Hey guys!
So,
Miami, because your favourite presenter's back.
You know, he's already starting, ladies and gentlemen. He's already starting. As I say through gritted teeth. Oh my fucking Christ, Jesus Christ, Sky, just get rid. But yeah, no. Still the whole farcical and, like, pomp with the American race.
Yeah, but please, you make it still so they do some stuff really, really well, which we'll come on to in a little bit. You know, there's several parts of it that actually work really, really nicely this weekend. I feel like 3 to 4 years in, they are finally starting to get maybe a good hang on it.
So obviously, didn't see practice one, but kind of just going to do a quick skip through.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know we always say don't take practice with we take practice one with a pinch of salt, but when practice one is your only practice session...
Yep.
Then...
I mean, looking at the list quickly, most drivers got a reasonable number of laps in.
They did.
Yeah, there's no driver there with like 1 lap in or something.
Bar Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg was the lowest number of laps there.
Yeah, it looks like it's 13 in it.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of don't know what to make of the Saubers, to be honest, because have the Saubers just given up at this point? That's the thing. Or will they improve? Because
are they now fully in the old we're going to be working on next year in the Audi car? And pushing that avenue?
Possibly. But that's the thing. The Ferrari looked on it. I mean, all I will say is fair play to the Williams. Even in FP1, they were looking good. Looking at this.
Yeah, watching Sainz fighting away with his whole car was very entertaining.
I mean, Aston Martin, yeah, Stroll, sort of. Don't know. But, yeah, really, like I said, didn't see much of FP1, so can't really make too much of a comment. Did you catch sprint quali?
I've seen highlights of it. I didn't actually manage to catch the full.
No.
Just because of timings and where I was and stuff.
So it's a big shock for me.
I mean, the big thing to take away from it was Yuki. And they actually since went out and said it was the team just mistimed getting him out.
Yeah.
Sure, what I heard, the team basically took responsibility for that.
Good.
It's fair play on them, like.
And then it was just the usual suspects, Oscar and Lando up front, Max.
Yep.
George. Albon. And obviously Lawson got through to Q2. Sainz did Sainz crash? He did, didn't he? Did he?
Yeah, hence why the DNF and he didn't get timing.
Alonso. No, that was a sprint, wasn't it? Was it a sprint?
Yeah, Spinney spun it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sainz hit the wall.
Sainz hit the inside wall and managed to destroy the back tyre, destroy the back wheel.
And that was at
basically cut the corner too tight.
That's at that chicane I hate at Miami. Which kind of was a little bit gutted for him.
Oh yeah. Once again, there was the second race this season where the two most experienced guys kind of let us down a little bit. Luckily, they're not in my fantasy team anymore, but
yeah. And then, going through. Obviously, we lost everybody from Hulkenberg down to Behrman, obviously, but Q3 was interesting.
Yeah, like
sorry,
I say, I wanted to highlight reel.
Q3.
ISQ3.
Sprint quali. All I'm going to say is it was looking good for the two McLarens. And out of, or was it Max? Who was on pole at that point?
I think it was the McLaren. They're out of nowhere, Antonelli.
Antonelli just put in this phenomenal lap.
Oh, hi.
I mean, I kind of joked to myself and said, "Yeah, he's been watching a lot of Max's lap." Because that was on a Max level lap. It was just.
Oh, it was just superb.
It was just like, where did that come from? And didn't that put him as the youngest? Even though
the youngest ever pole sitter.
Even though it was a sprint race, he still holds that accolade.
Youngest ever called pole sitter. Could have been the youngest ever winner had he converted it.
Could have been. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the sprint race, obviously Yuki started. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
The sprint race, well, what we should say is the sprint race, the heavens opened not long before. I mean, I turned my speed on. I think the academy qualifying was going on.
Yes.
And it didn't look good now. Charles Leclerc doing an Isaac Hadjar was something none of us expected to see. I mean, to be fair, it was terrible conditions and he just aquaplaned off the road. And of course, a track like Miami, you've not got a nice free runoff area to...
No, he just aquaplaned straight into a bloody wall.
And destroyed the car. And then did he not also get a fine or something for driving the car in an unsafe? Because he tried to drive it round and he was throwing bits of metal off. I'm sure one or two got.
I don't know.
Sure one or two.
I think
all of that.
Williams was one. I know that.
Williams, actually, just reading the list at the bottom here of the list, it's got Albon received a penalty for failing to stay above the minimum lap time under the safety car.
Yeah, he did. Because did you?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, did you not see the thing afterwards?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
He was asked in the pen. It basically was questioned about it in the pen, and he just went. He just froze. He didn't know what to say because he didn't know about it.
Yeah.
It was like, way to fucking drop that bombshell on him. And after that, he didn't really get much of an interview out of him. Maybe the strategy would have been ask him the questions first, then tell him about that. Because he was stunned and he didn't know what to do. But
But yeah, so obviously we ended up with a really weird situation where we lost, was it 3 laps off the sprint in the end? Because they aborted the start, put them back in the pit lane, which seemed to be considered the wrong option to do. So they sat there for a while, then went out, was it 2 formation laps?
Was it the formation lap?
I think they did 2 formation laps.
Behind
then they
the safety car.
The pit lane.
Then they red flagged it. Then they formation lapped it again, did they? And then
I'm pretty sure it was 2 laps again. And then lined them up on the grid, at which point you can actually join the back of the grid.
Well, he was allowed to. Yeah, he was allowed to do it.
Which is not surprising, because obviously, technically he had done his pit lane start for the first one. He didn't.
And then there was all the kerfuffle of, well, has the race started? Has it not started? You know what I mean? It was so confusing. There was like... It was just like, what's going on? It's, very hard to follow. No clear, concise... I get it, the weather was bad. They were trying to... That's a problem with Florida. Looks sunny 1 minute, next minute, poof. Next minute, dry again.
The thing is, it often clears up as quickly as then the thing is, it's quite warm. Once it dries, it usually starts clearing up.
Yeah. And the sprint, like I said, I think the sprint was more exciting. The sprint was exciting.
Oh, the sprint was. The sprint had... I mean, should we get on to what I think was the big talking point, which was the Verstappen-Antonelli incident? And can I just say, there needs to be 1,000 congratulations to Antonelli for not ending up basically doing 10-pin bowling into a crowd of mechanics.
Oh, you mean the unsafe release?
Yeah, I mean, give credit to say, do not blame Max for that one. He had no... And he himself, as soon as he realised Kimi was arriving, hit the brakes.
Yeah.
But that so easily could have spun Antonelli into his crowd of mechanics.
Oh,
Kimi managed to back it back out of it.
Problem is what was if they'd hit, what would they have done if they'd have hit that? If the mechanics had been hit, right?
It'd been an absolute disaster.
They'd have had to red flag the race. They'd have had to stop the race. And they'd have had to park them on the fucking grid.
Oh, definitely. Would have been.
Now,
let's say you can't blame Matt because he went with the lights. Now, to me personally, I'd be slapping Red Bull with a massive fine for that one. I know he got the penalty, but there'd be a very, very large fine going their way.
The thing was, why did Max get the penalty? I know it's in the fucking rule book. I already know this. But because why?
Team and driver are one, aren't they? It's one of those. Yeah, you can't punish one without the other.
But this is what I don't understand. It wasn't Max's fault for... Yeah, the green light...
By punishing him, you're taking championship points away from the team, aren't you, potentially? Now, as it was, for reasons we'll come on to, because of the way the race finished, Max lost a lot of positions. In fact, he was the last of the actual finishing drivers.
Now,
because the sprint finished under safety car.
Yeah, but the problem is Max couldn't see Antonelli.
No, he couldn't 100%. Like I said, I have zero blame on Max
for that
situation.
He's surrounded by mechanics. How many people is it? 20? Is it 20-something people?
I have 26 in my head, but I could be wrong.
I think it's less than that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know why I've got that number.
And is it 21 or 22? I think it's 20. Could be 21. Don't know. Have to do a quick fact check in a minute. So Max ain't gonna see Antonelli approach him. Okay, get it. Green light.
Up to 22.
Okay. So,
but then again, there's like 3 on each wheel. There's
2 jackmen and shit like that. Tire people and.
There's often a spare like lollipop man. There's a spare jackman each side in case for some reason the first one doesn't work.
But Max ain't gonna see Antonelli coming down. The wing mirrors on them cars look shit anyways.
Oh yeah, like I say, it's the team's fuck up big style.
Now,
like I say, to me personally, if I'd have been the FIA, there'd be like $100,000 fine going their way.
And who used to be the pit people for Red Bull?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what you mean. Who you mean by that?
The main chief, like.
I don't know.
So the pit stops aren't so autonomous, if you know what I mean. There is also a button there is also something that gets pushed by somebody else.
Yeah.
In case they need to hold, we have seen people being held. And it was human error, basically. So that proves that pit system is not fully.
This is the second time we've seen Red Bull have issues with their pit system this year.
Yeah.
Don't forget Bahrain, we had trouble with the traffic light system.
No, wasn't Jonathan Wheatley because he's
Merc, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who it was that used to be Red Bull's rule guy, basically.
Yeah.
No. I'm just trying to see. That doesn't really help. Because it wasn't it's not bloody Callum Nicholas, it was... He was one of the crew. Oh, I can't think of who that... Anyways, if I find it, it'll come back at some point. But, yeah, no, I don't know. It screwed Antonelli well and truly, though. Because he had to
go around and make another pit stop.
Yeah. So which lost him more time.
Yep.
And Antonelli finished 7th in the end. Yeah. Okay, Yuki picks up points. Stroll picked up points. Russell. And is it just me? Or has Ferrari done it again with their luck? Because
see, one of the best ones I saw was the meme where it was literally like, do you remember the old Williams BMW when they were Hewlett Packard liveried? It was like that, and the Ferrari had a baby, and here it is.
Yeah.
I was going back to, was it Miami last year where we were promised a blue car, and it was like...
Never happened, yeah.
Well, it had little bits of blue on it.
But, yeah, it was just like Hamilton on the podium. It was like, what? Just Hamilton finishing third. It's just like, what? And obviously, Lando. He got lucky with that fucking safety car.
Oh yeah, he didn't have. You can kind of feel, you got to be in it to win it, but you kind of feel bad for Oscar because he was kind of robbed of that one.
He was, but there was not much Oscar could really do. No. No, it was more the race we saw VSCs. I'll come on to that. But yeah, no. Lando just got so lucky again with a safety car. 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Just yeah. Quali. Actually, is there anything else you want to add to the sprint before we move to quali?
No, it was actually just that weather just absolutely threw us a curveball, didn't it? You know, we weren't expecting anything like that, and it was brilliant.
Hmm. Did you see quali?
I saw highlights of it once again.
Okay. Anything?
So I was going to say,
go on.
Well, Alonso not making Q2 would be a standout. Liam Lawson making it into Q2.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had a good result for doing well up there into 14th. Shame it didn't get delivered later on. And then Hamilton out only 12th behind Hadjar.
Yeah, that must sting.
And well behind both the Williams. Carlos Sainz, which is out there, knowing that he out-qualified both Ferraris, thinking, yeah.
I know.
Yuki getting into the top 10 is maybe a good sign that he's starting to get a grip on that
car.
That car, which is always good to see.
But yeah, no, to see the two Williams up there is nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't know what it is with Russell, though. Russell seemed to lose. Well,
did you see the memes go around as welcoming back as the second driver at Mercedes? It appears as things stand right now, Kimi seems to be the stronger of the two.
Yeah, but I just, no.
As I keep saying, to me, Russell's a bit of a dark horse for this championship because, like I say, he's there or thereabouts.
Well, you'd find you'll see when when we get to the rest. Jesus, but I don't know. Just Russell seemed to lose his confidence. Russell took a knock, it seemed.
Oh, yeah.
Because, okay, Russell outdid Antonelli in practice. Then, obviously, outdid him in sprint quali. Russell outdid. No? Yes. Yeah, Russell outdid Antonelli in the sprint, obviously. And then Antonelli outdid Russell. And it's like, I don't know. Will there come a point with Antonelli where he'll fuck up? In a bit of a big way.
Well, do you like inexperience takes control of something? Possibly. We're going to wait and see on that one.
Because it's not quite the Russell coming in when Hamilton was there and Russell absolutely battering Antonelli, because Russell's proved that. That he's still, can sort of get podiums, whereas like Antonelli's not quite there yet with that. But I don't know, just something knocked him, I think. Especially to be, like I said, a little bit to be shown up by Antonelli there, but like I say, will Antonelli end up making a bit of a mistake? You know,
only time will tell on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, fair play to the Williams for getting 6th and 7th. Big shock was a little bit of a big shock to me was Piastri. He just.
Yeah, very maybe a little bit like an experience, a little bit of. But I mean, we've got to give credit to Max for another blinding Verstappen special.
You can't write these things.
Congratulations to Max and Kelly as well on the birth of Lily. I hear a rumour that Toto Wolff's already signed her up. He doesn't want to miss the boat this time.
I heard rumours that apparently Susie Wolff had given an.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I don't know the truth in that. But you've got to admit there is something in the child of a Verstappen and a PK does have the ability, does have the sounding of the Messiah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
They talk about like the first female in F1.
Yeah.
Although we say that, and I go back to the Mick Schumacher situation where it doesn't guarantee, but you never know.
But the thing is, will Max and Kelly really want that for their child?
Mate, we're talking a long time. If we're still doing this podcast when she gets to F1, mate, there's something either gone very well or very wrong. And I'm not entirely sure which one of those I'd go with. So, yeah, but I meant to say that at the beginning and just forgot. So we'll throw that in here.
But it just also does depend on...
another... You've got to... Like him or hate him, Max just has that ability, and that lap at the end of Q3 was just a blinder. That little bit special when he really turns it on.
Yeah, it's not by much either. And considering...
About 6.5 tenths a second.
Yeah, but considering... Look how close Lando... Kimi was to Lando. It was, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 0.003 of a second.
Yeah. So, Gasly had to start from pit lane, didn't he?
Gasly, I can't remember now.
I think Gasly was pit lane. I think Gasly was pit lane due to power unit. Come on to that.
Starting good.
We doesn't say.
Listed 20th, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Because I don't think he took. Pass. Problem with the sprint weekends is you've got so much to take in.
Yeah, it's easy to miss one or two little bits and pieces without.
Now, the question I have for you is...
Go ahead.
Apart from what did you think of the race, the lack of safety car and using VSC, what's your thoughts?
I know. On the second one, I was sort of screaming out, come on, let's have a proper safety car. Let's bunch them back up. I mean, I'm almost going into we're going to do almost like the old touring car competition safety car. But yeah, the VSC is good at what it does. The VSC, I think I would have liked to have maybe had a proper safety car just to try and bring things together. And
yeah, it was a little bit like, really, another VSC? I mean, how many was there? How many VSCs?
At least 2, potentially 3.
Was it not 4? No?
No, I have it down as 3. I could be wrong, like it's a rarity, but it happens.
Because we had Doohan. Because Doohan was it Doohan and Lawson had to come together?
Yeah, we popped Doohan's tyre. You had Behrman's
engine
blew up.
Bortoletto.
I think his car just died, didn't he? He complained he was losing hydraulic and then just died. And I actually must have missed what happened to Lawson. It was probably just to do with the damage you can say we're doing, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
I think it showed you there was like a little hole in the sidewall, in the side pod. And...
Yeah. Yuki got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The Aston Martins, their pace is just gone. Actually, sorry, did they have it to begin with? Now,
yeah, Aston Martin is struggling a little bit at the moment, do we know that?
Yeah, but does it make you wonder, are there going to be decisions made about Alonso's future? And I say Alonso...
I know, I'm sad to say.
I like the guy.
Is it him? Because the car's just... I mean, to take this race, he finished ahead of Stroll.
Oh, yeah. But is it... The problem is, the reason why before anybody decides to jump on me in the comments, the reason why I say Alonso's future is because Stroll's safe. No matter what, Stroll is safe because of who owns the team. And then the next link in the chain would be Alonso.
Yeah.
Now, I like Alonso. That's the thing. I do like Alonso, so I'm not actually shitting on Alonso.
Yeah, we all like.
I just personally...
Alonso's been a major part of the grid for a long time.
Yeah, but I personally feel that Alonso needs to stay, Stroll needs to go, Drugovich needs to come in, and they need to keep hold of Alonso for 20, or at least when the new car comes in.
Yeah.
This is the thing that's really pissing me off right now. As stupid as this sounds. Before we started recording, Alan sent me and David a little bit of breaking news.
Yeah, he's still not feeling great, so he's not here tonight, which is a shame. And we wish him all the best.
But Alan sent me and David a little bit of breaking news. Is the fact that they are considering replacing Doohan for Carlo Pinto. Now, what's your thoughts on this?
Doohan's not had the greatest start, but he's getting there. I've never been a big fan of this let's mid-season replace driver. I think I've made that clear on quite a few occasions. I don't think you can see a driver's potential 6 races in.
No.
Until you've had a variety of different circuits, you had time for them to settle. I mean, it's a Red Bull situation again. And Red Bull seems to have started this because I don't know. Go back into the sport years, and I can't remember this happening a lot unless a driver got injured. Maybe you're going to correct me on this, but
like we said, Danny Ricciardo got injured, so he got swapped.
Yeah. A driver getting injured is something else.
Yeah. This mid-season driver swap thing, due to lack of performance, it's bullshit. And it's not... There's one person to blame who kicked this shit off. And that is Helmut Marko.
A good friend of yours. The good doctor.
Like
But yeah,
if he ever wanted to appear on the podcast, I would tell him to go and shove it. I'd rather have
a separate email saying, "No, come on," because I would just want to see the fireworks.
I would rather have Gunther Steiner sat on this podcast.
Well, I think everybody would, but that's But to sort of finish my statement, I think no mid-season. If you're going to do it, maybe do it at 50% of the season, because then you've had at least 12 races in that case to see. I mean, we are a quarter of the way through the season at this point.
Oh yeah, we are.
But no, I'm not a fan of this idea of swapping Colapinto out. Swapping Dewey out for. I know Colapinto performed all right back end of last season.
Oh yeah,
Williams, I wouldn't say he was exemplary.
And then how many times did he put that fucking Williams in the wall? Compared to Albon. So yeah, sorry, but it's Briatore fucking all over. This has got Briatore written all over it, because Briatore, for some reason, has never really liked Doohan, but didn't have much of a fucking choice when it came to getting drivers. And before anybody jumps on me, no, this is not because of Drive to Survive. I've listened to another podcast, and Briatore was a guest, and he just he was just an arrogant prick, Mr. Crashgate. And
yeah, that's it. Those of us that have been here a while remember him from those days. And ironically, also involving Alonso.
Yeah, but I'm surprised he's even been. I was surprised when the news came out of him coming back into F1. It was like, huh? You're supposed to be fucking banned.
It turns out that got overthrown quite a few years ago. I wasn't aware of that, I must admit.
Yeah, no, it did. I did the digging. But yet again, it's that the ban got overthrown, but that's why he's only in the advisor role and not on. He's still not allowed to be a team principal. He can be an advisor.
Yeah.
But he's not actually allowed to be a team principal.
Fair enough.
I'm going to say this.
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Doohan gets a bit more time, because he seems to be getting there.
I mean,
you can't really judge badly on this race when you consider that the only newbie to actually finish was Antonelli.
Yeah, but I am going to say that as well, that EJ, I don't think EJ would have even been that ruthless.
No, he wouldn't have. It cost him too much.
Too right. But yeah, I just no. Certain older people, i.e., Briatore, Helmut Marko, they need to wake up and realise we're not in the olden days of F1 anymore. We're not in the days where Bernie Ecclestone was in charge and all that shit. F1 is now modernising. A lot of young drivers are coming up. Now, if I wanted to get into F1, not going to happen, but if I was a young driver wanting to get into F1 and I'm seeing how teams are treating younger drivers, I'd have been like, I think I'll just stay down. I'll stay lower down for a little bit.
Especially when you're in an era of the world when mental health is considered much more than it was back then.
Yeah. You know what
I mean? I know that sounds like a silly take on it, but you think, go back to like the early 2000s, mental health wasn't thought about.
No, but you know what I mean? You'd try and stay down a little bit more. Or you'd go, I don't know, you'd go elsewhere. You'd go IndyCar or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If this is the way you're going to be treated as an F1 driver.
Yeah.
And it's not good for these young'uns. God, I sound really old saying it like that, but...
Yeah, you do.
Fuck you. The rookies... the rookies have fought their way through these junior programs, and what chance have they got? With
that's what I'm saying. That's the problem I have with it is you pull out in 3, 4, 6 races. You've not had a chance for them to show what they can do.
no,
It's going to take a race or two just to settle into this new sort of style of life they're in, and then just I say maybe we're being a little bit too lenient, but I think you kind of got to, because the trouble is, if we're not careful, F1 ends up being how it's been for a few years, where it's a bit of an old boys club. You know, look, was it 2 years ago where we had no new starters whatsoever?
no.
You don't want things like that.
No, but if they're not getting the chance, then what's... It is still going to remain that way.
Yeah, exactly what I mean.
I mean, God help a fucking female if a female got an F1 drive.
When Lily Verstappen gets here.
But I mean,
I still say it's amazing how people go on, but I say the second a female driver comes along who looks like they've got the skill, the teams will be falling over themselves to sign them up.
Oh, no shit. No shit.
Because the amount of good press and publicity you will get off that.
I mean, where's like Aston Martin? I forget her name now. Fucking Jesus Christ, I forget her name. Is it Jess somebody?
Hawkins.
I think so.
Yeah, I see. No, it's not Jade Edwards, is it? No, she was the other one. She was the other side. There's one or two that are sort of... Sadly, none of them have been able to sort of get to the level where they would be shown. I mean, say, Jamie Chadwick was the best of the Formula W and couldn't even manage F3 level, so...
Yeah, but then she ran out. Then the money ran out as well. And the thing is, you know, the sport needs to be more... I'm sorry, but it's all guys. It's male oriented. It's male oriented. Okay, yes, there's female engineers, pit crew, PR, and all that lot.
Yeah.
But driver wise, it's male oriented. Things need to shake up.
Oh, yeah.
But the only way you're ever going to get a shake up is get a certain dickhead of a president out.
You just want to be looking at a woman in a race suit. That's all it is. We know what you're about.
No.
He's not denying it, folks.
No comment. But
he's not denied it.
But I honestly didn't find the race that exciting.
Sadly, well, like I say, the sprint set us up for it looking like brilliant. Now, maybe this was the weather. Maybe that was what we missed.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the weather was coming. It did sort of arrive, but then didn't. But then apparently downtown Miami got absolutely battered by a massive storm.
Yeah, I never saw. Yeah, I know. They kept talking about rain meant to be coming, and it just never materialised.
I mean, the only bit of other good bit of excitement was the build-up and the bloody drivers' parade using a double-seater Lego cars.
Lego cars.
Full-size F1.
Did you see all the pictures of all the damage to various ones afterwards?
Yeah, they had a little bit of fun, shall we say.
Yeah, there was quite a few of them were fairly badly damaged by the end of it.
Well, what did you expect? Give him a forgiven.
Did you hear the talk between Yuki and Max saying, "Treat me like your child"? He was in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like you got your baby in the car.
Oh. And that's what I mean. I like Yuki because he can just... I think they get on well.
It looks like, is it also the fact that Max knows he's really not a threat?
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like, I wonder now... I don't know. You didn't see any of the pen, did you?
I didn't, sadly. No.
Lando was giving his interview, but he seemed very distracted. Because he was looking at the camera.
He's watching another championship slowly stride away from his
No.
hands.
As he was saying words, he was sort of laughing, but he was looking to his left. So was Max stood there? Who was stood that side? Because everything he was saying, he was looking in that direction.
Yeah.
So was he being careful what he's saying? But even though, I don't know, something wasn't right there. Something seemed a bit, because
I know what you mean.
Whoever was doing the interview, I can't remember. Is it Rachel? Can't remember who does the pen bit, but
no, I actually didn't catch all. Got a bit late by that point.
But yeah, no, even she commented about. Even she asked him why was he laughing, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, there was something not right somewhere there. I mean, okay, Lando's comments was right. It was Max's race to lose, but Max is going to fight hard.
Yeah, they're going to fight hard, and it was the most dominating McLaren win we've had in a long time. Was it 30-odd seconds?
Right. So
Norris was clear of 30.
Them two finished 37.6, well, 644 seconds ahead of Russell. Yeah. That was almost a Max level.
That was when Red Bull absolutely dominated level of it, wasn't it?
And fair play to Albon for putting it in 5th.
Oh yeah. Williams in general, it was a really good weekend for them. Okay, Sainz lost a little bit of time towards the end, but they were sort of up there fighting with the. Do you see that really close scrap at the end between
Hamilton and Sainz?
Yeah, I was so hoping Sainz was going to get him. Actually, I really was.
Yeah, Sainz got lucky to not take himself out. And Yuki barely escaped. I think he was 5 point. What was he? 5 point.
Well, looking at the original gap, the gap between him and Hadjar, this, of course, once the penalty's been added, was 0.2 of a second.
All right, and so yeah, he was 5.2, something like 5.2, 5.4 seconds ahead. So he did well to make that gap up against Hadjar, otherwise he'd have been out of the points.
Oh, right. Oh, definitely.
But yeah, it was just like Ferrari just gone backwards again. I mean, there was a lot of sass being chucked.
As much as I'm not the biggest Hamilton fan, that comment about you guys having a tea break there or something.
No, it was why don't you go and have a tea break or something?
Yeah, having tea there as well, and then that bit that picture saying like all the mechanics said that we come to tea.
No, but I get his frustration. I'm not the biggest Hamilton fan. I get his frustration as well.
You say the problem is though, especially two of those likes of us. This is old. This is Ferrari. This is old Ferrari. We watch Ferrari do this. Appear to not have actually a strategy other than put the car on the track and then figure the rest out as we go along.
Yeah, we thought we'd seen the end of it, and then clearly not.
Yeah, we thought they were getting away from it, and then all of a sudden they seem to have dropped back into it. Yeah. I mean, you kind of 50-50 putting the intermediates on before the sprint race, which caused
Leclerc's crash.
Now that's sort of a half and half one, because it was difficult to call exactly how it was going. But it would have made more sense if you're not sure. Stick him on the absolute wets. You could always change it to inters once he got back to the grid.
Yeah.
And obviously, because of the way it happened, I mean, they did well to get the car back out in time for qualifying. Let's be honest, there wasn't a massive gap.
But it's just... And then there was a whole shenanigans of swapping places and...
swapping back and, yeah. Saying that the Williams... Apparently, when the Williams told not to fight each other and basically just ignored it.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah. Like it was the same with McLaren's. If Lando had caught Oscar, they were allowed to race.
Mm.
But me thinks Oscar won't give him that up. I mean that was flawless from Oscar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I don't want to say this because I don't want to jinx him. But if I was a betting man, I'd put money on him for this championship.
He's lucky. It's to lose, isn't it, at this point? He's very much in the driver's seat. I was looking, he's 16 points clear, which isn't quite a race win ahead.
No.
But it basically means he can guarantee, as long as he finishes top 4, he's not losing that lead.
No. This is what I mean.
You know what I mean? It's very, and when we're very, very early days. Can I just stress you, we are very early days.
Oh, I know we are.
But it's always being in front's always the nicest place to be.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like I say, he's, Oscar's sitting there on 131. Lando's sitting there on 115. Max is sitting there on 99 points. Russell's on 93, so Russell's starting to claw back. So it's top 4 at the minute. At this point, unless Ferrari can get their ass into gear, I'm just saying top 4. Could be anybody's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you're not wrong.
Because Russell seems to get the knack of managing to score points out of a good situation.
That's what I keep saying. I keep saying that do not count Russell out, simply for the fact that he's managing to finish reliably.
Yeah.
I mean, he just 3rd in Australia, 3rd in China, 5th in Japan, 2nd in Bahrain, 5th in Saudi,
and
3rd. So his lowest finish all season has been 5th.
Yeah.
Now, there's always, my dad always talks about great. I think it was Keke Rosberg managed to win a championship one year and only won 1 race, but didn't finish lower than about 4th the whole season.
Yeah.
And Russell's well online for something like that, especially if we get a point where the likes of Oscar and Lando start tripping over each other.
Yeah. Russell's in prime contention right now.
Russell and Max are both still right there.
Oh, yeah.
The McLaren at the moment looks like the Red Bull did a few years ago. It looks like it's in a league of its own.
Yeah, definitely.
But the biggest problem they've got, and the big difference between that and when Max was doing it, is that the two McLarens are probably equally on drivers, whereas whenever Max had that dominant car, the second driver was never quite there.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's very, very early
days,
like
there is also rumours, I will say this, there is rumours about Perez possibly coming back for Cadillac.
For Cadillac, yeah, which would be good to see. And I think he'd bring a lot of good experience to that.
Yeah, but it depends who you put alongside him.
Well, if it was me personally, I'd go with my older. I'd bring a rookie in. Personally, I'd bring a rookie in alongside him. Just because that way, you're giving the next generation that bit of boost.
Yeah. Right. So, I'm gonna move this swiftly on to the bit that I'm not actually looking forward to right now.
The Fantasy League.
Yes, and interesting. So Ryan got screwed by Alonso and Behrman. Sainz didn't score him any points. 0 points for Sainz. Because of the sprint not classification. That's what that's all about. And then we have Angela, who got screwed by Sainz and Behrman. And
at least she's finally changed and
Racing Bulls.
At least she's finally now changed hers and got, so she's not getting no points for loss, not being in it anymore.
No, it was Yuki.
Yuki getting moved, wasn't it? Sorry,
it was Yuki. David. Ooh, dear boy. Surprised to see you this low.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly awful. I think it's just a general... Piastri was my only good scorer. I mean, I've got a little bit of a minus on Behrman and on the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, based on how the weekend went to begin with, you'd have thought Antonelli would have been a better result for me, but there we go. It's this way it goes.
It's because he lost... Because he lost the race position. That's what that was, as well. And Adam got buggered by Behrman. Nothing for Hadjar either. He picked up a nice rack of points for Albon. And who did he have? Oh, yeah, Norris. Alan, Behrman, and Racing Balls. Oh, and Doan, sorry. So Alan could have been a bit higher.
Yeah.
Logan, obviously, Sainz and Hadjar. He would have overtook me. Possibly. Myself, obviously, Hadjar did me. Behrman and Racing Bulls. If Sainz had scored, I think Logan would have been in front of me.
Yeah, I'll say.
And
still very close. We're still in the early days.
He also had Hadjar and Doan and Bortoletto, but yet still managed to walk away with the points he did. How did he walk? Yeah, but that's the thing. He walked away with 9 points more. How?
On who?
I don't know. He had 9 points more than me and Logan.
As his team.
Yeah, so have I.
He's got Williams as his second team.
Maybe that's what's helped him.
He's got Albon.
Yeah, maybe that.
You've lost -10. Plus, he's got his two. Yeah, you got your 2 times.
On Piastri.
I think it's literally the fact because I mean your 3 scorers. Obviously, Hadjar gave you 0 versus his. I think it's his Williams. I think it's his Aaron Williams.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think it's Aaron Williams.
Their points covered over the minuses.
Well, how much did I?
I mean, if you take it overall, I'm still sitting 7th, but I'm closing Ryan down.
Technically, yeah, I still would have been behind him by 1. If he'd have been a bit differently there. Yeah. But overall, still not much between me and Alan. Ridiculous.
All Simon, you 3 are. There's less than 100 points between Simon and Alan.
Yeah.
And the rest of us have some ground to try and make up. Not handicapping you guys who keeps going this way.
Well, Alan was in second, and I've managed to outdo him. Coming for you, Simon. David will eventually probably try and catch you up, but he's got a lot of ground to cover.
I'm working on it. So I'm not worried.
But yeah, right now I think it's right now it's between me, Alan, hunting down Simon at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's interesting. So, anyways, have you got any other?
No, it's just to say, like I say, the race actually didn't end up as anything I guess we wanted it to be, but that's just one of those. We're into a triple header again, which is.
Are we?
Can't say I'm the biggest fan of that, but yes we are.
Oh, and we're getting tighter regulations. Come Spain on front wings. So, obviously, as you know, usually goes out on a Wednesday, and the next race is Imola, or Emilia Romagna.
Yep.
On the 16th to 18th of May, and here are your timings UK time. Practice 1 on the 16th of May, 12:30 till 1:30. Practice 2, 4 o'clock till 5 on the same day. On the 17th of May, you've got practice 3 at 11:30 till 12:30. Qualifying is at 3 till 4 on that same day. Is that buggered you up because of work? And
we'll make it work.
On the 18th, the race is at 2.
Yep.
Very much looking forward to seeing what the hell Imola's going to chuck up this time. Hopefully, it's going to get spicy. And one thing I will add before we quickly finish, the Miami got his contract extended till 2041.
2041, didn't it? Which is a ridiculous time scale. But...
yeah. And then obviously after that, we go into Monaco and we go into Spain, where in Monaco, we will see a mandatory 2 pit stops. Mandatory. Unless the FIA decide that they're going to change that little rule. But yeah, so I'm not
sure how I feel about that.
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it names Monaco. But that'll be not the next time. So obviously, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to David for joining.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Obviously, don't forget to go and check out the YouTube channel. Link is above. And we shall see you for the next one. So, until then.
Later, folks.
Goodbye for now.